Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and welcome to another edition of Let's Taste. Had a very surprising arrival at my door this afternoon of Sam, who is behind Samu Wines. I hope I said that correctly. Who reached out to me, interested to see what I thought of the wines, probably because they are made from mostly Italian grape varieties, but probably even more so because the grapes have come from the Ricatera Farms vineyard in the Riverland region of South Australia, where some of the most exciting alternative variety, particularly Italian variety based wines are coming. You may have heard episodes of the Vincast, my podcast with guests like Brad Hickey and Brendan and Laura Carter, who both buy grapes from the Ricatera Farms vineyard. I've also tasted the Delinquente wines, which use grapes grown at Ricatera Farms. So I believe, I can't remember which one, but I think it might have been the Nero d'Avola Merlot won a trophy at the Australian Alternative Varieties Wine Show towards the end of last year, and that was sort of when it came across my radar, because the owner of Ricatera Farms was promoting you could call them his clients, customers who had bought his grapes to make their wine, who won trophies at the wine show. So I was very, very happy and excited to taste the Samu Wines in this beautiful packaging under screw cap. I believe that recommended retail is $30 and $35. So I think I'm probably going to start with the Nero d'Avola Lagrein. So Nero d'Avola, of course, is probably the main grape variety on Sicily, certainly as far as red wines. It is what I consider to be quite malleable. You can get quite different microclimates and soil types in Sicily, and depending on where the fruit is grown, it can give you quite different results. And I don't think that it would be any different in Australia. As yet, I have really only tried Nero d'Avola from Riverland, from I think McLaren Vale, of course, the Brash Higgins Nero d'Avola, and I think Heathcote maybe. So I'd like to see more Nero d'Avola planted, certainly in the drier areas, not too hot ideally, but it's not uncommon to blend it, but it is pretty uncommon to blend with Lagrein. Lagrein is a grape variety that comes from the Alto Adige or Südtirol region right up in the northern part of Italy, in the Dolomites kind of area, close to the border with Austria. Lagrein is, again, quite a malleable variety. It's one of the better rosé varieties, in my opinion, but it also makes lovely sort of peppery, dark fruited, but not heavy and jammy red wines. So I'm interested to see, this is quite an unusual blend, so let's see what it has to offer. Very, very generous, exuberant dark fruits, spicy plum, some blackberries, a little bit of spice, some lovely dark floral notes as well. Very inviting, very pretty. It definitely makes me want to taste the wine, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's taste. Again, very exuberant on the palate, fresh. It's got a bit of a kick towards the end as well. Voluminous but focused as well. It's not broad, it's not jammy, it is fresh. Delicious, really interesting. I think I'd like to see the Lagrein on its own. The Nero d'Avola is sort of leading it a lot. It's giving it that lovely fleshiness, that red fruited kind of juiciness. The Lagrein probably, for me, is lifting the aromatics a little bit. It's a very compelling blend, but I definitely would like to see the components to see how they present on their own. Okay, wine number 2 is Nero d'Avola Merlot. Merlot, along with a number of other what are considered international varieties, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, Chardonnay, were planted in Sicily a number of decades ago in an era when there was great interest in finding out if Sicily could produce high quality wines, but from the way I understand it, they weren't quite sure how they could make the best out of their indigenous varieties, and certainly there wasn't an existing market for Nero d'Avola wines to a certain extent. Nero Mascalese, Frappato, Catarato, that kind of thing. And so they planted a lot of international varieties. And there was one particular winery, Planeta, who really brought a lot of attention to Sicily with their international variety-based wines. It's only been, in my opinion, the last sort of 20 years that wine quality using indigenous Sicilian grape varieties has improved so much more. So I guess Merlot is not an uncommon blending variety with Nero d'Avola in Sicily. You do see quite a bit of it, particularly on the kind of southwestern side of Sicily. This is probably even plummier than the previous one, definitely in that kind of blood plum realm. Yeah, it's like, picking up a handful of raspberries and blueberries and blackberries and just squeezing them in your hand and smelling them. It's it's really beautiful blue and red berries. Quite perfumed. Let's taste. This one's sort of softer and more opulent, but also not as sort of intense and concentrated. There's more of a kind of a velvety structure to it. The tannins are very soft, very round, and very approachable. There's a tightness to the Nero d'Avola Lagrein wine. For me, I think probably the Nero d'Avola Merlot is a little bit more reflective of Riverland, and it's probably, in my humble opinion, a more balanced blend, slightly more harmony in the Nero d'Avola Merlot than in the Nero d'Avola Lagrein. Like I say, I'd like to see those components on their own. But look, two very delicious, very approachable, very Australian red wines here. I do highly recommend seeking them out. I think that they are offering a lot to people who like Australian red wines with a little bit of a twist to them. So thank you very much, Sam, for popping by and donating these bottles for me to taste. And thank you, of course, to Ricatera Farms for growing such wonderful fruit. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button below. Leave a comment, share your impressions of the video or of these wines. Hopefully there'll be a link so you can find out where you can buy some of the Samu wines. But thank you very much for watching. Come and visit me at intrepidwino.com. But until next time, cheers.